Coming up in the news, Grenada signs on to Madrid Protocol, making way for increased global protection to the brands of local businesses. And government and the Grenada Union of Teachers signs new collective agreement that will see more than just salary increases. Details to these stories and more, plus a look at news in the region when we return. Back with the details to the GIS news for today, Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. I am Abigail McIntyre. Grenada will become a member of the Madrid Protocol contracting states on March 15, 2026, affording local businesses and brands the ease of registering their trademarks through the local Madrid unit. This makes Grenada the sixth CARICOM country to receive and register trademarks at the local office and offer trademark protection in up to 132 countries. Attorney General and Minister for Legal Affairs, Labor and Consumer Affairs, Senator Claudette Joseph, made the announcement during Wednesday's post-cabinet briefing.
What that means is that our business community will get a boost. It will be particularly beneficial to small and medium-sized businesses in Grenada, where they now are able to register their trademarks, their brands, their symbols in one simple, cost-effective application at CAIPO and designate from among 131 countries which country they would like their trademark to be protected in.
She further explained that the Madrid Protocol also provides the mechanism for foreign businesses to register and have their trademarks protected in Grenada. This transition is expected to provide economic benefits and add value to foreign investments.
The Madrid Protocol and the establishment of the unit will result in some revenues for our consolidated fund. We estimate that in the first year, the consolidated fund could realize between $600,000 and $1 million. And I am told that's conservative. So we are happy that our ministry can provide a boost to our revenues. And of course, business will flow from the Madrid unit for the trademark lawyers and trademark agents in Grenada.
To ensure a smooth transition to the Madrid Protocol, CAIPO, with support from the World Intellectual Property Association, will offer online training and embark on public sensitization campaigns. Registrar at CAIPO, Robert Branch, explains.
The first week in June, the World Intellectual Property Organization will have a mission to Grenada where they will engage with the staff of CAIPO with respect to the application processes and the work that CAIPO is expected to undertake as a receiving officer, office of origin. And we'll also have engagements with the existing trademark agents and attorneys in Grenada to give them practical experience with respect to making these applications, etc. So rest assured that we'll have the appropriate outreach and opportunities for the public.
The newly established Madrid unit will operate from the Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property Office, also known as CAIPO, located at Mount Welldale, St. George. The government of Grenada has signed a new 3-year collective bargaining agreement with the Grenada Union of Teachers, the GUT, covering the period January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2028, securing salary increases and improved benefits for teachers across the public education system. The agreement provides for a compounded salary increase of 4% in 2026, 4% in 2027, and 5% in 2028, continuing government's policy of steady and sustainable improvements in public sector compensation. This follows the previous negotiated settlement for 2023 to 2025, which delivered increases of 4%, 4%, and 5%, reflecting an ongoing commitment to improving the earnings of public officers while maintaining fiscal stability. Eligible teachers will also continue to receive their annual salary increments each January, further strengthening take-home pay throughout the life of the agreement. Minister for Labour, Senator Claudia Joseph, says she is pleased with the outcome of the negotiations, noting that strong industrial relations are essential for national growth and development.
Our government recognizes the importance of a stable and peaceful industrial relations climate. That is an essential element to a productive society. And especially in this era where we have global uncertainties and shifts in the geopolitical climate, it is important that workers are placed in a stable and predictable state in terms of their employment and the rewards for their employment.
Prime Minister the Honourable Dickon Mitchell attended the signing ceremony to lend his support to the process. He noted that when teachers are properly supported, the country ultimately benefits.
Our teachers are part of the citizens of Grenada, and the government represents the citizens of Grenada. The leadership of the GUT represents the teachers, who are in turn citizens of Grenada. And so when we engage in a collective process of deal-making, it is in fact to the benefit of the entire country. And so it's important for me to highlight this and to re-emphasize that even when we use the word industrial relations, we are not talking about a transactional or episodic arrangement, but a permanent state of affairs that ought to be engaged in a manner that benefits and redounds to the benefit of the citizens of Grenada, including our teachers, and including the principal benefactors of our education system, our students, who later on become adults and are expected to carry on the task of nation building. And so I want to salute the leadership of GUT in particular for ensuring that the industrial relations climate in Grenada over the last 3.5 to 4 months has been one that has been transformed from one that was confrontational, divisive, and in many instances, anti the collective citizens of Grenada. And I also want to particularly thank P.S. Marshall and the government negotiating team for, throughout the process of the negotiations, not just in this round, but the rounds that commenced in 2022 and was then settled, for also changing the approach to our collective negotiations. Unions and workers, government and government representatives, we are not enemies of each other. We are not against each other. We are all citizens of the country. We are all entitled to our different views. We are all entitled to say what policies should or should not be implemented and how we get there. But at the end of the day, if we can't negotiate, make deals, bargain collectively, we will all be worse off in the long run.
In addition to wage increases, the agreement addresses several issues affecting the teaching profession and the learning environment. These include an annual $500 classroom materials allowance to assist with the purchase of teaching resources, expanded study leave and scholarship opportunities, and additional staff support for special education and early childhood institutions. President of the Grenada Union of Teachers, Jude Bartholomew, expressed gratitude to the government and its negotiating team for listening to the concerns of teachers and working collaboratively to address them.
A lot of great things have been happening, and so we appreciate from the Grenada Union of Teachers the benefits and such. The GUT is not leaving anybody behind, and what we are seeing here is that the government of Grenada is not leaving anybody, whether from the GUT, from the public schools or CC, behind. And so we are very proud and appreciative. In this document, there is a lot of things, not just the salary increase or the salary component, but when you look at the type of fringe benefits that we really negotiate negotiated and we have here today. I think we had an engagement with our members last week, and they were very, very, very happy and appreciative. So I just want to put our thanks and sincere thanks and appreciation, those things that would improve the lives of our members, especially not going in details yet. We know that negotiations is not completed and such, but from our perspective, for preschool teachers, we know how happy they are to improve their life, because as you see, with education and from the GUT, I think you should put your hands together as what I'm trying to say here. The foundation of education is from early childhood and preschool level. And so many times that the preschool teachers, they have been clamoring and such, and they felt that they were left out. And today, as said, we are very happy indeed. In the record is there in this document. And P.S., I see you smiling here. The transformation for preschool teachers and preschool education.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Lorraine St. Louis Ned, and Deputy Chair of the Government Negotiating Team, Lindonna Helen Marshall, also welcomed the outcome of the negotiations.
We thank you very much for conducting these negotiations in a manner that was very respectful.
We value not just the salary increase, because we know with the salary increase, we also have teachers who are eligible for the incremental increases, and that is significant for the government and for all of us who are participating in this salary discussion. But we particularly want to mention the fact that we recognize the interest that the teachers showed, particularly with regards to how they can improve the quality of the classroom environment for our students. And we really did spend some time seeing how we can support them in ensuring that they have the means and the resources to be able to create that environment so that the students can actually improve on their ability to walk away with the lessons that are being taught in the classrooms.
The government negotiating team noted that the agreement reflects constructive dialogue between the parties and represents the third major settlement concluded during the current negotiation cycle, following recent agreements with the police and prison services. The Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, the GSWMA, continues efforts to contain a fire at the Perseverance landfill. The blaze is currently confined to a section of the landfill where all the tires and construction and demolition waste are stored. Flames were first observed early on the morning of March 8, engulfing the designated area, which spans approximately 3 acres and contains an estimated 2,600 tons of tires. The cause of the fire remains unknown at this time. Assistant Communications Officer at the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority, Nikolai Boyk, provided an update on the situation at the landfill.
We are aware of the situation. We have been putting efforts in place, measures in place, working together with our fire unit and also personnel from the Royal Grenada Police Force Fire Department to contain the fire. Given the situation currently at the landfill, we are working assiduously to try and maintain the fire. We do have our heavy equipment on site, which has already created a corridor to prevent fires from reaching other combustible materials at the landfill, and we will continue our operations to try and suppress the fire as much as possible. Doing our suppression of the fire, it will result in a lot of smoke in the area. So we are asking motorists to be mindful when traversing the area. Be mindful there's going to be dense smoke in the area, and also to persons, residents in the community, where we do apologize for the unfortunate experience that is happening right now. We do encourage you to try as much as possible to limit outdoor activities. We're hoping that by the end of this week we have this fire under control, and we're going to continue to work to ensure that it does not expand or reach to other parts of the landfill.
Farmers across Grenada are strengthening their ability to withstand climate change impact through improved water storage and management systems provided under the GIS Challenge Fund for Agriculture. We get more in this report.
Farmers across the nation are transforming their operations to make their farms more resilient against climate change impacts such as reduced rainfall and droughts. This is possible through the GIS Challenge Fund for Agriculture, which currently provides farmers with water-efficient technologies such as micro-sprinklers, drip irrigation, and rainwater harvesting systems. To date, more than 69 farmers have received either drip irrigation, micro sprinklers, or rainwater harvesting, or a combination of two, through the GIS project, which is being implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and the Grenada Development Bank. The initiative is helping farmers better manage limited water resources while sustaining production in the face of increasing climate variability. For farmer Teresa Misaki, the introduction of water tanks and drip irrigation systems has transformed the way she manages her farm, making daily operations more efficient and less labor-intensive.
It was really difficult, taking a lot of time to irrigate by watering can or sometimes a hose, and sometimes the water is in Nawasa have a ration, you can use the pipe, so it was really difficult, and the storage that I have for rainwater was so little to accommodate all the water.
The farmer expressed her appreciation in getting these systems installed.
I have 6 tanks in 2 different sections. It helped me a lot by reducing the cost of water bill. You can use it during dry season. I observed that this water tank is helping me to increase yield because I am able to plant it throughout the year without a problem.
Another beneficiary is Kimani John. The young farmer who received a tank and drip irrigation system said water storage challenges will be a thing of the past.
Before I had the tanks and the drip line, we had a gravity flow from the river where we used to fill up barrels with water. We had PVC pipe run, but it wasn't sufficient enough. So with the help of the drip line, it make it more easier. We was using barrels. We used to fill the barrels by a hose and then use water in can to wet the sieve by hand. The water tanks could help for if the river overflow or if dry season, it could store water to sustain the sieve beds for a few days, maybe for a month or so. I would like to thank the GIS project along with the ministry for helping us out with the watering system. It make farming much more easier than before.
Andel Daniel is appreciative of the irrigation and rainwater harvesting systems that he received. According to him, he can now diversify his crop production.
Before the program come along, it was a little challenge to get the water from where it was. And coming for the lines and so forth, it was a little challenge purchasing lines from the hardware here. Right, so they come along good and they supply me some lines, and wow, it was great. And when you come into seedlings, I won't have to be running here everywhere to get seedlings. I'm going to supply myself with seedlings and the nation, whosoever wants seedlings as well. Yeah, so the water from the tank's going to be using and stuff like that. I'm using for watering the seedlings and getting it on the market or getting it in the land faster than going and look for it all over the place. So you guys did a really good job by supplying the lines.
The GIS project is jointly financed by the Green Climate Fund and the German Federal Ministry for the Environment, Climate Action, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety under its International Climate Initiative and the Government of Grenada.
Thank you, Ria. 40 fishers from Carriacou and Petit Martinique have completed specialized safety at sea training aimed at improving maritime safety practices and reducing accidents within the fishing industry. The training program, which ran from May 2025 to March 2026, focused on strengthening the preparedness of fishers to respond to emergencies and minimize incidents that can lead to injury, loss of vessels, and in extreme cases, fatalities. Fishing remains a deeply rooted tradition and one of the largest economic activities across the Sister Isles, making safety training especially important as efforts continue to shift the culture towards safer maritime practices. The program was organized under the Unleashing the Blue Economy in the Caribbean UBEC project. Fishers who successfully completed the training each received a safety grab bag equipped with essential tools, including a VHF radio to ensure reliable communication in emergencies. Chief Fisheries Officer in the Ministry of the Blue Economy and Marine Affairs, Nigel Gibbs, says safety must remain a priority in the fishing profession, noting that even one loss at sea is one too many.
because every time you lose a fisherman, you lose all of the services that he or she would be providing. And so I want to encourage you as I end to not have these equipment and all these devices as mere decorations in your house and in your boats, so that when you go out to sea and you encounter difficulty, as we've had in the past, people forgetting or leaving their radios at home, not being able to get your jacket on time, because sometimes you have a very small window when some accident occurs for you to react. So I know that the training that has been delivered to you would have covered all of the aspects of safety at sea, and that's why we have the grab bag, so that in the event you're over in the water, at least your life jacket, and I'm hoping that that will be the first part of the kit as you venture out, that is seen on you, and that you are able to quickly access that bag.
The UBEC project will implement 29 interventions in Grenada between 2026 and 2028, aimed at strengthening the sustainability and growth of the marine sector. Project coordinator for the Grenada UBEC project, Yolene Newton, says the safety at sea training forms part of these wider interventions within the fisheries sector.
The fisheries sector is the second largest economy for Grenada. Hence the reason the Fisheries Division proposed several and related interventions under the UBEC project that will strengthen technical and institutional capacity. Other fisheries-related interventions under the umbrella of the UBEC project is 1. Training in pre- and post-harvesting of fish and fish products, training in grant proposal writing and access to finance, aquaculture investments, and adopting climate-smart technologies, development of a beach scene regulation, development and deployment of FADs, just to name a few. In all, we have 29 interventions under the Grenada UBEC project to be implemented 2026, 2027, and up to June 2028. Therefore, your training is not in isolation, but rather an integral part of building the capacity of the sector while promoting a culture of safety and setting the trend.
The project has also facilitated the deployment of fish aggregating devices, FADs, to support fishers' livelihoods, as well as communication repeaters to expand radio coverage across the islands. These initiatives represent a significant step toward building a safer, more resilient, and professional fishing sector for the sister isles. We'll take a short break. Stay with us.
The government of Grenada has amended the Drug Abuse Act. Cannabis is now decriminalized. If you are 21 years or older, you may possess up to 56 grams of cannabis and 15 grams of resin. Registered households may grow up to 4 cannabis plants for medicinal, therapeutic, or horticultural purposes. The Rastafarian community now has legal recognition to use and cultivate cannabis in registered places of worship and approved events. Past minor cannabis convictions will be expunged. Pending minor cases will be discontinued. For young adults aged 18 to 20, criminal charges are replaced with mandatory rehabilitation and counseling. No criminal record will be created. This reform focuses on decriminalization, not full legalization. It promotes responsibility, supports fairness, and reflects progress. For more information, contact the Cannabis Secretariat at cannabiscommission@gov.gd. The Cannabis Secretariat, guiding responsible cannabis use and awareness in Grenada.
Welcome back. Fisherfolk operating at the Melville Street and Grenville fish markets recently received training in proper food safety and food handling practices. The session was organized by the Ministry of the Blue Economy and Marine Affairs and focused on current laws and regulations governing food safety within the marine industry. The aim is to ensure that fish vendors and fishers remain compliant with national standards. The training comes at a critical time as Grenada works to strengthen its food safety standards and operating procedures to align with international requirements, with the country addressing the ban on fish exports to the United States and preparing to access new international markets. Stakeholders in the sector are being encouraged to maintain strict adherence to regulatory guidelines. Biologist and fisheries officer at the Ministry of the Blue Economy and Marine Affairs, Crofton Stroud, led the training and noted that many of the vendors already demonstrated a good understanding of standard safety practices. He outlined several areas covered during the session.
We did a pre-evaluation. So in that pre-evaluation, we actually asked a lot of the vendors and some of the fishermen that are in the workshop, what are some of their practices? And we tried to get some feedback from it, because what we would actually do is we will do another evaluation at the end of it, so we would actually see how much they would have learned from the beginning to the end, so we actually would be able to, grade it, so to speak. And then what we looked at is our legislative framework. So we showed them the different parts of the laws internationally as well as domestically, what we have to follow and what are some of the penalties if we don't follow them. And then we looked generally at an introductory to food safety. So we looked at a lot of the processes that need to be at our markets, that need to be by their stalls. And we looked at personal hygiene and health, which is very important, because as you know, if you are sick and you have a communicable disease, that you can actually pass it on to someone through the food that you are producing and processing for them. We also looked at a lot of hazards associated with seafood. So we looked at a lot of the heavy metals. We looked at like ciguatera poisoning, and like locally, a lot of people would refer to fish eating copper as copper poisoning, but it's not actually copper, it's ciguatera that actually gets into the food chain, and a lot of the larger apex predators like the large barracudas and the cubera snappers and the groupers, they actually have high concentrations of the ciguatoxin in their body and they can pass it on, so that was very good, passing on that information. And we also looked at safe handling practices of fish, and I must say that the participants, they know a lot of information and they were very open to learning. And then we also looked at cleaning and sanitization.
Stroud says once fish exports resume, periodic inspections will be mandatory, making it essential for vendors and fishers to remain prepared at all times.
These workshops are going to be important so the fishers know exactly what they have to do, so we will be a lot more compliant internationally. So I think it's very important for us being compliant. So once the fishers have the information and they know what to do, then it'll be okay. Because you have to understand, we have an emerging sort of middle class that is developing in Grenada. So people no longer just want to have cooked fish. People will actually have a lot of sashimi and a lot of sushi, right? So if the people have to produce chilled raw fish, we have to show them exactly how to do that so people would not get food-borne illnesses.
The Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Grenada hosted a special reception at the ambassador's residence in recognition of the achievements of women. The event formed part of activities marking International Women's Day and brought together female principals, educators, business owners, parliamentarians, public officers, and government ministers. Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Grenada, Yang Shu, says women play a critical role in building strong societies and should be celebrated for their contributions.
Women play an important role in creating, promoting, and carrying forward human civilization. The great Chinese revolutionist Chairman Mao said, "Women hold up half the sky," which fully reflects the great strength of women. I'm also pleased to note that Grenada has been actively promoting women's empowerment initiatives, which have effectively enhanced women's capability and promoted social equality. I'm also deeply impressed by the strength and elegance of Grenadian women, making extraordinary contributions to Grenada's development, community building, and the friendship between China and Grenada.
President of the Senate, Decima Williams, says women have long been the bedrock of Grenadian society, and she is proud of the progress women have made over the years.
Our past for women has been one of grandeur, then capture, colonialism, slavery, semi-independence, and continuing struggle for women's rights on its own. Those who have gone before us have laid a foundation for some of the following: that women head up more households and live in greater poverty when they do than men is still an achievement out of our history. Women faced violence from slavery and violence from gender inequality, still emerging. Women faced labor, unpaid, combined with contributions almost entirely for the care work of households and communities. Women faced raising children in a situation of inequality in their households, in such a condition that the communities helped to raise children. But through all of this, women have made advances, and it is for us important to celebrate them.
Ambassador Xu and his team created a warm and welcoming atmosphere for the guests, treating attendees to an evening of cultural exchange and fellowship.
We have prepared wonderful activities, letting you feel the charm of Chinese culture in a relaxed, family-like atmosphere. It can be a warm bridge for cultural exchange between China and Grenada to deepen our friendship and enhance mutual understanding. I hope today's event bring you joy and unforgettable memories. Thank you for your participation, and once again, Happy International Women's Day. May all the ladies here be healthy, happy, and beautiful. May the friendship between our two countries be as sweet as the red bean pastries that we are going to make later on and last forever.
And finally, in the local segment, Wednesday, March 11 marks the final day for audiences to view the local folklore film Don't Blink at the Movie Palace. The film will be shown from 8:30 p.m., giving patrons one last opportunity to experience the locally produced production and draws heavily on Grenadian folklore. The Government Information Service recently spoke with the film's creative director during an episode of the program Informed Discussions. We get more in this report from Karen Maureen Alexander.
Keeping dreams alive, having a vision and doing what's necessary to bring it to realization. That's Teddy Frederick, creative director behind the recently launched local Grenadian film Don't Blink, Journey into a World of Grenadian Folklore. Don't Blink was produced by the Grenada Film Company in collaboration with Kingdray Productions. The 45-minute film has been getting very good reviews, according to Frederick, who is also the director of the Grenada Film Company.
Growing up, we see a lot of films coming in from, the bigger world. We grew up with Superman, we grew up with Batman, a lot of these characters that does not resonate with the Caribbean environment. Yes. And here, I think we have an opportunity to do something like that. Mm-hmm. When I see the families that come out to the cinema and some of the children and the teens that look at the film, and you could see on their faces, like, when the next part coming out, like, where we could go and find it, like, you're coming in with school, and I'm just like, that's what you want to hear, and so people need to know, like, these things are important to us. Mm-hmm. The reflection of our imagery is also very important to us. Right. Not just hearing our songs on an international stage, but seeing ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And through cinema, you could do that.
Most of the filming of the movie was done in the parish of St. Andrew, using local actors and community members. Frederick said this film is about preserving the intangible heritage of Grenada through film, which is historic for the Grenada film industry.
Some of the research that we've been doing to try to get materials on folklore, not just in Grenada but Caribbean. We haven't seen people could correct us, but we haven't seen much visuals for folklore. We've seen some photographs and some artistic impressions, but nothing in cinema. And even if there were some type of documentation, it hinges on like a documentary style where people are just talking about it similarly to what we do regularly.
Yes.
But I wanted to add an entertainment value, and I wanted to add CGI. I wanted to add, more motion picture type vibe to the thing. So, when I see films like Stranger Things, I'm thinking like that's actually like a folklore story, really.
Okay.
So if you look at our film, you could see it's like a bridge between, I don't know, I would say Netflix Top Boy with Stranger Things mixed with a little Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
The director of Don't Blink said he and his team took 2 years to raise funds to complete this part of an 8-series film. To complete the vision, he is calling on all of Grenada, including corporate Grenada, to support the movie and invest in further developing the film industry in Grenada.
We did hikes, we did sales, anything we could do to kind of raise the funds to make the film. So a lot of the stuff we're just doing it on our own. So we don't have the actual know-how of how the larger movie industry works. We're not claiming that. All we're doing is we're just talented. We're interested in making things that fascinates us. And we're hoping that when we put it out there, people kind of just reach out to us and partner with us.
After the screening of Don't Blink at Movie Palace, a national tour of the movie will be done around the country. The business community is invited to partner with the Grenada Film Company to bring Don't Blink to the schools and communities. They are also looking for other platforms regionally and internationally to showcase the film and Grenadian talent. Teddy Frederick can be contacted via email teddyfrederick@gmail.com, Grenada Film Company @gmail.com, or on all the social media platforms. I am Karen Marine Alexander reporting.
Thank you, Karine. And that report puts a wrap on the local segment. We'll have a look at what's happening in the region when we come back.
My name is Liselle Walcott. I'm a staff nurse at the General Hospital for the past 16 years. At the Infection Control Department, we do surveillance for communicable diseases or hospital-acquired infections. We do outbreak investigations. So any issues we have, we would investigate it, find out the cause, and we would do recommendations and interventions to all relevant departments. Thus far, with Mount Sinai, we are looking at ways of improving hand hygiene. Hand hygiene has been proven to be one of the most important practices you could do to break the chain of infection. Working along with Mount Sinai, I foresee that it would be a very good thing for us. They are looking into the products that we use, the practices that we do. Going forward, we'll be able to achieve a very high level of compliance and safety across the board for everyone.
Welcome back. A renewed commitment to strengthening cooperation between the United Kingdom and the Caribbean nations emerged from the 12th UK Caribbean Forum held on March 10 at Lancaster House. The meeting was co-chaired by the Foreign Affairs Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Denzel Douglas, and UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper. A key outcome of the forum was the development of a new UK Caribbean Plan of Action, which will guide cooperation and regional engagement between the United Kingdom and Caribbean countries over the next 2 years. Among the priority areas identified were trade and investment, security cooperation, and regional development. Discussions on trade and investment focused on strengthening economic diplomacy, expanding exports, and deepening trade links between the United Kingdom and Caribbean states. Security cooperation also featured prominently, with leaders exploring ways to enhance regional security frameworks to better address global threats and organized crime. And finally, from the region, Caribbean talent was on display as swimmers from Jamaica competed at the 2026 Pro Swim Series held March 4th to 7th at the FMC Aquatic Center. Leading the Jamaican contingent was World Championships representative Jessica Calderbank, who competed for City of Manchester Aquatics. Calderbank took part in the 50 and 100 meter butterfly events, as well as the 50 meter meter freestyle as she continues to build experience on the international circuit. She was joined by Kia Alert of Club Wolverine, who used the high-profile meet as preparation for the upcoming Carifta Swimming Championships. Alert competed in the 50 and 100 meter freestyle and the 50 and 100 meter breaststroke events. The Pro Swim Series attracted an elite field that included several world record holders and Olympic champions, among them Katie Ledecky, Caleb Dressel, and Canadian standout Summer McIntosh. Other Caribbean athletes competing at the meet included Yeziel Morales of Puerto Rico, Lamar Taylor of the Bahamas, and Bermudan siblings Emma Harvey and Jacques Harvey. That's a look at news for today, Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. To recap the top stories, Grenada signs onto Madrid Protocol, making way for increased global protection to the brands of local businesses. And government and the Grenada Union of Teachers signs new collective agreement that will see more than just salary increases. On behalf of the entire news and production team here at the Government Information Service, I am Abigail McIntyre. Thank you for joining us.